Assalamu alaikum and good morning, my dear students. How are you all? Hope you all are doing well. So I welcome all of you to yet another class of biology. So in the previous class we were discussing about the asexual mode of reproduction in organisms, right? We learned that the reproduction is of two different types, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In that, we learned in detail about the asexual mode of reproduction. Which were the different mode of asexual reproduction? Budding, fragmentation, regeneration, spore formation, fission, then vegetative propagation, etc. Right? So in today's class, we will be learning about the sexual mode of reproduction. So what do you mean by sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction means there will be the involvement of germ cells or the gametes. Is it? It is the fusion of male and female gametes. Is it? So during this process, the DNA of two different organisms is combined in the newly formed organism. Okay? So today we will be discussing about the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Okay, so in today's class we will be discussing about the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So let's move into the topics. Sexual reproduction in flowering plants. The reproductive parts of angiosperms, that is flowering plants, are located in the flower. And you have already studied the different parts of a flower, right? So the green colored portion seen below the flower is called sepals. And then we have petals, the colored and attractive part of a flower. Next we have the male reproductive part, that is stamen. The stamen includes two different parts, that is anther and filament. The yellow colored portion is the anther and the tube-like structure is the filament. The anther contains the pollen grains, and inside the pollen grain the male germ cell or the male gamete is present. Next we have female reproductive part, that is pistil. A single pistil contains three different parts, that is the lower portion, the round structure is the ovary, and the tube-like structure is the style, and sticky, the uppermost part, is the stigma. Inside the ovary there will be ovules, and each ovule may contain the egg cell or female gamete. There are two different types of flowers. First one is unisexual flower. So a flower can be unisexual or bisexual. So the flower unisexual means, the unisexual flower means when it contains either stamens or pistil. Either one of them will be present. Either stamens will be present or either pistil will be present. Okay, such plants or such flowers are called unisexual flowers. For example, papaya. In the case of papaya, there will be a separate male plant and separate female plant. Next example is watermelon. In this also, separate male and female plant will be present. Okay. And the second type of flower is bisexual flower. So the both sexes will be present in the same plant. So the flower will be having both stamens and pistil in the same flower. So in the same flower, the stamens and pistil will be present. That is, the male reproductive part and female reproductive part will be present in the same flower. Such flowers are called bisexual flowers. For example, hibiscus plant. If you can see the picture, right? In this, both male and female structures are present. Another example is mustard. So now we discussed about the male reproductive part of a flower, female reproductive part of a flower, two different types of flowers, right? Next, these male and female gametes of this flower should be fused. That's how the fertilization occurs. Okay, so how it will happen? For that, the pollen grains of the stamen should be transferred to the stigma, right? The pollens from the stamen should be transferred to the stigma of the flower. And that process is called pollination. That is, the transfer of pollens from stamen to the stigma is called pollination. So there are two different types of pollination. First one is self-pollination. If the transfer of pollen occurs in the same flower, it is referred to as self-pollination. Okay, if the pollen of the flower is getting transferred to the stigma of the same flower, then it is called self-pollination. So it will be take place only in bisexual plants, right? Next one is cross-pollination. If the pollens are transferred from one flower to the stigma of another flower, it is called cross-pollination. Okay, but the flower should be of same kind. For example, we said that papaya is unisexual, right? Only one sex organ will be present in flower. So the pollens of male plant of papaya have to be transferred to the female of papaya plant itself. Okay, the flower should be of same kind. So cross-pollination means if the pollens of one flower is transferred to the stigma of another flower, and it will be in two different plants, not in same plant. Okay, and the transfer of pollens from one flower to another flower in a same plant is also cross-pollination. Okay, the transfer of pollens to the stigma of another flower in the same plant is also considered as cross-pollination. So this cross-pollination can be occur in the case of unisexual flowers and bisexual flowers. The pollination can be done by the help of bees. Okay, that occurs while the bees visit a flower for collecting its food. During that time, what will happen? The pollens will stick to the bees' wings and legs, and this bees will visit another plant of the same type. During that time, the pollen on the bee will stick to the pistil of the flower on the other plant. So this is how the pollination occur with the help of bees. And pollination can be done with the help of bats, then birds. Same process will happen. Birds, then through the water. In water plants, the pollination will occur through water currents. Then cross-pollination can be done through winds. So during the time of wind blows, what will happen? The pollen grains will move through the wind and it will stick to another plant of the stigma of the another plant. That's how the pollination occur through the wind. Okay, and humans can pollinate the flowers by just dusting the pollen grains of one flower to the stigma of another flower. Okay, so pollination can be artificially done by humans too. So now the pollen grains are reached the stigma of the flower. Now what will happen? The pollen grains want to reach the ovary, right? Inside the ovary, the ovule is present, and inside the ovule, the egg cell or the female gamete is present. So the pollen grains want to reach this ovule. Okay, then how it will happen? So after the pollen lands on a suitable stigma, a tube grows out of the pollen grain. And this pollen tube will travel through the style of the pistil to reach the ovary. So inside the pollen tube, the male germ cell is present. So while the pollen tube germinates and it will grow through the style of the pistil, and at last it will reach the ovary. So inside the ovary there is ovule, and inside the ovule we have the egg cell. So this germ cell, male germ cell present inside the pollen tube will reach the ovule, and the male gamete or male germ cell will fuse us with the female gamete to form zygote. And this fusion of male gamete with female gamete is called fertilization. Okay, so the transfer of pollens from stamen to stigma was called pollination, and the fusion of male gamete and female gamete is called fertilization. After fertilization, zygote will form. And the next stage is the formation of embryo. The formed zygote will divide several times to form an embryo within the ovule. Okay, and this embryo will gradually develop within the ovule. Next stage is the formation of fruit. Now what will happen to the ovule? The ovule will develop a tough coat around it, and it will gradually convert it into a seed. And the ovary around the ovule will grow rapidly and ripens to form a fruit. So the ovule is the seed inside the fruit, and the ovary will become the fruit. Understood? So after fertilization, the ovary will become the fruit of the plant, and the ovule will become the seed. So the seed will give rise to next generation, right? So the seeds present in this fruit will give rise to the next generation. Okay. So meanwhile, the petal, sepal, stamen, style and stigma may shrivel and fall off from the plant. Next we have germination. So now the seed and fruit is formed. We know that the seed contains the future plant or future organism or embryo, which will develop into a seedling under appropriate conditions. And this process is known as germination. So you can just look at the picture. It is the different parts of a seed. So for a seed there will be 3 different parts. First one is cotyledon. It is the stored food of the embryo, which will help for the germination of the seed. And next part is plumule. Plumule will develop and grows into the shoot or the stem. And below that there is a radicle. Radicle will give rise to the root. Okay, so there are 3 different parts: cotyledons, then plumule and radicle. So the sexual reproduction of a flowering plant includes the following steps. What are they? First, the fusion of male and female gametes. After fusion, the zygote will develop, and the zygote will give rise to embryo, and embryo will germinate. That is germination. Okay, so these are the different steps occur in the sexual reproduction of flowering plants. So dear students, in today's class we discussed about the sexual reproduction in flowering plants, right? In that we discussed about the major parts of the flower, the male reproductive part, that is stamen, the female reproductive part, that is pistil, and how the stamens or the pollen grains are transferred to the pistil, that is the pollination process of pollination, different types of pollination, different types of flowers, that is unisexual flower and bisexual flowers. And then we discussed about the process of fertilization, that is how the male and female gamete get fused. After fertilization, what occurs? The zygote is formed, right? After fertilization, the zygote is formed, and after the continuous division of the zygote, the embryo will form. Is it? And then we discussed about the process of formation of fruit. In that, the ovule seen inside the ovary will form into the seed, and the ovary will develop into a fruit. Is it? Then what will happen? The seed, inside the seed, what is it? There will be embryo, and this seed will germinate and give into a new organism. Is it? So these are the process we discussed today. So I think all of you understood the topics well. So if you have any doubt, we will clear it in the live class. Okay, that's all. We will meet in the next class. Thank you.